Subway is closing more stores in this country. The chain says it will shut down about 500 of them this year. Subway closed hundreds more over the last 2 years.
Subway just became the most hated restaurant in America overnight. While you were sleeping, millions deleted their app and vowed never to return. But the reason isn't what the media is reporting. It's something far more disturbing. Subway used to be America's sandwich king. Walk into any strip mall in the 90s, and you'd find a line of people happily building their own masterpieces. But these days, well, those same locations sit half empty, while customers quietly slip away to competitors. The problem started at the top, with what I call the cookie-cutter catastrophe. Corporate decided that a Subway in Maine should look, taste, and feel exactly like one in Arizona. Makes sense, right? Wrong. They ignored local tastes completely. No regional specialties, no community flavor, just the same bland formula everywhere you looked. Then came the franchise frenzy. Subway expanded faster than a teenager's appetite, opening stores on every corner without proper support. Think of it like handing out driver's licenses without teaching people how to drive. Franchisees were left scrambling, many without adequate training or guidance. The result? Inconsistent experiences that frustrated both owners and customers. But here's where it gets interesting. Corporate priorities shifted from happy customers to rapid growth. Marketing campaigns became more important than the actual sandwich experience. They spent millions on celebrity endorsements while ignoring the basics, like making sure your chicken actually tastes like chicken. And the weird part is how they handled feedback. Policy changes happened constantly, leaving franchisees and customers equally confused. One month you had certain promotions, the next month they vanished. Loyalty programs changed without warning. It was like trying to follow directions from someone who kept changing their mind every 5 minutes. Leadership ignored warning signs that would make a smoke detector jealous. Declining sales, customer complaints, negative reviews, all swept under the corporate rug. Local managers reported problems, but headquarters seemed more interested in opening the next 1,000 locations than fixing existing ones. This created what business experts call trust erosion, though I prefer calling it customer betrayal. Longtime fans didn't stage protests or write angry letters. They simply walked away, quietly choosing competitors who actually seemed to care about their experience. The damage wasn't dramatic. It was gradual, like watching paint peel or your hairline recede. You don't notice it happening until one day you look up and realize everything's changed. But losing customer loyalty was just the beginning of Subway's problems. The real shock came when people started comparing their wallets to their sandwich sizes. Remember when a foot-long actually felt like a meal? Those days are gone, and your wallet knows it. Subway built its empire on a simple promise: big sandwiches, small prices. But somewhere along the way, that promise got as thin as their current turkey slices. Customers who've been loyal for decades are now staring at their subs like, did I accidentally order the kids' meal? The math is brutal. A typical sandwich that cost $6 in 2010 now runs $12 to $15 in most locations. Meanwhile, the meat portions have quietly shrunk. What used to be a generous pile of protein now looks like they're rationing for the apocalypse. They cut my meat from 12 slices to 8, so I cut Subway from my life. This phrase went viral because it hit home for millions of customers who felt cheated. It's like paying luxury car prices for a bicycle. The numbers just don't add up anymore. But here's the kicker. It's not just the meat. The veggies look tired, the cheese feels thinner, and even the bread seems smaller. One customer joked that Subway's new motto should be, "Eat less, pay more." Ouch, but accurate. The Subway shrink has become so noticeable that people are measuring their sandwiches and posting the results online. When your customers turn into food detectives, you've got a problem. These aren't picky eaters. These are people who just want fair value for their hard-earned money. Then there's the competition factor. For the same $12 to $15, competitors are serving sandwiches that actually fill you up. Local delis are laughing all the way to the bank, offering twice the meat for similar prices. Makes sense, right? A recent survey found that nearly 60% of Americans think fast food prices are outpacing quality, with Subway frequently mentioned as the worst offender. That's not exactly the reputation you want when millions of people are watching every dollar. The real tragedy? Subway trained an entire generation to expect value. Now those same customers feel betrayed, like their favorite restaurant friend started picking their pockets during lunch. Well, guess what happens when people feel ripped off? They don't just complain, they take their business elsewhere. But the value problem is only part of the story. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my fiancé got me one, and I have to say, I'm shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that some supplements made my stress score spike, while others actually helped bring it down. I adjusted a few things based on that, and honestly, I feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they are currently running a limited 69% discount, but I don't know how long it will last. It's currently only $60, and it's clear this one is the best bang for your buck, with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. Walk into most Subway locations these days, and you'll feel like you're stuck in molasses. The lines move slower than a retirement home conga line, and half the time the staff looks like they'd rather be anywhere else. One customer in Phoenix told me she waited 12 minutes just to order a turkey sub. 12 minutes! Her grandmother could have made a Thanksgiving dinner faster, but here's where it gets really frustrating. You finally reach the counter, and the employee seems confused by basic requests. Extra pickles somehow translates to no pickles at all. Ask for light mayo, get a sandwich that's practically swimming in it. It's like playing telephone with someone wearing noise-canceling headphones. The inconsistency is maddening. Tuesday's location might have friendly staff who remember your order. Thursday's spot? Good luck getting them to look up from their phones. Makes sense, right? You never know if you're walking into decent service or a complete disaster. Then, there's the understaffing problem. One person trying to handle 6 customers during lunch rush? That's not efficiency. That's setting everyone up for failure. The poor employee gets overwhelmed, customers get impatient, and everybody leaves unhappy. Well, except maybe the corporate executives counting their money from air-conditioned offices. And the weird part is how complaints just vanish into thin air. Call the store, get transferred 3 times, then told the manager, stepped out. Email corporate, receive a generic response 2 weeks later that basically says, thanks for caring, we'll do better. Sure you will. Many older customers remember when service meant something. When employees took pride in making your sandwich exactly right. When the customer is always right wasn't just an ancient saying your grandfather mumbled. Those days feel like ancient history now. Let's not forget the rushed, assembly line mentality. Your sandwich gets slapped together like they're building widgets in a factory. No care, no attention to detail. Just hurry up and move to the next person. That turkey slice hanging off the side? Not their problem anymore. This pattern of poor service isn't just annoying, it's expensive. Why waste money on mediocre treatment when competitors actually seem happy to serve you? But the service problems are just scratching the surface of Subway's troubles. When was the last time you walked into Subway and felt genuinely excited about what you were going to eat? If you're scratching your head, you're not alone. Subway's menu has become about as thrilling as watching paint dry on a Tuesday afternoon. Here's the thing, while other chains are rolling out Korean BBQ bowls, spicy Nashville chicken, and artisan sourdough creations, Subway is still asking if you want your turkey on white or wheat. It's like showing up to a smartphone convention with a flip phone. Sure, it works, but nobody's impressed. The build-your-own-sub concept that made Subway famous in the 90s? Well, it feels dated now. Back then, choosing your own toppings felt revolutionary. Today, every fast casual spot lets you customize everything from your burrito bowl to your pizza crust. Subway's big innovation has become everyone else's baseline. But here's what really gets customers fired up. They keep removing the good stuff. Remember the seafood and crab sandwich? Gone. The roast beef that actually tasted like beef? Mostly disappeared. That honey oat bread people loved? See you later. It's like Subway took a look at their menu and said, "You know what? Let's get rid of everything people actually enjoy." Meanwhile, competitors are laughing all the way to the bank. Firehouse Subs brings the heat with bold flavors. Jimmy John's keeps it simple, but does it right. Even gas station delis are stepping up their game with fresher ingredients and more creative combinations. The real kicker: Subway's new menu items often feel like desperate attempts to catch up. They'll add a chicken teriyaki that tastes like it was mixed in someone's basement, while charging premium prices for what amounts to the same old ingredients with a fancy name slapped on top. And let's be honest, when your biggest menu excitement in recent years was changing the way you cut your bread, you might be missing the point. That's not innovation. That's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Smart customers have figured this out. They want bold flavors, fresh ideas, and ingredients that don't taste like they've been sitting under heat lamps since the Clinton administration. Makes sense, right? But menu staleness isn't the only reason people are walking away from Subway. There's something else that's got health-conscious customers seriously questioning everything. Remember when Subway's slogan was, "Eat fresh"? Well, here's a fun fact. Their bread has more ingredients than some chemistry sets. We're talking about 60-plus ingredients in what used to be flour, water, yeast, and salt. My grandmother would need a magnifying glass just to read the ingredient list. But the real kicker? Health experts started digging into those healthy subs everyone thought they were eating. Turns out, a foot-long turkey sub packs more sodium than a bag of potato chips. Yeah, you heard that right. The sandwich you thought was keeping your blood pressure in check might actually be doing the opposite. Let's talk about that famous tuna situation. Remember when people started asking, is there actually tuna in the tuna? Scientists couldn't detect tuna DNA in lab tests. Makes you wonder what exactly you've been eating all these years, doesn't it? Then there's the processed meat issue. Those perfectly round turkey slices don't exactly scream farm fresh. They're more like meat Play-Doh, molded into submission with preservatives that could probably survive a nuclear winter. And don't get me started on the oven-roasted chicken that clearly never saw the inside of an actual oven. The vegetables. Sure, they look fresh sitting in those little bins, but many arrive pre-cut and pre-packaged, sitting around longer than your uncle's fishing stories. That crisp lettuce starts looking pretty sad by day 3 under those heat lamps. But here's where it gets really interesting. Subway's own nutrition facts reveal that their 6-inch sweet onion chicken teriyaki contains more sugar than a chocolate chip cookie. So much for that healthy lunch choice, right? Health-conscious customers aren't stupid. They started reading labels, asking questions, and comparing options. When your local deli offers actual fresh sliced turkey without 17 different preservatives, the choice becomes pretty obvious. The breaking point came when people realized they were paying premium prices for what essentially amounts to fancy processed food. Why shell out $12 for mystery meat when you can get real ingredients elsewhere? And speaking of money, those rising prices aren't just hitting your wallet randomly. There's actually a calculated strategy behind every price increase. And once you understand what's really happening with customer spending patterns, everything starts making sense. For millions of Americans, walking away from Subway isn't really about hatred or anger. It's about something much simpler: getting smart with their money. Think about it this way. When your $12 bill gets you a skimpy sandwich that leaves you hungry an hour later, that's not a meal anymore. That's expensive disappointment wrapped in paper. And older folks? Well, they've been around long enough to know the difference between value and being taken for a ride. The quiet exodus is happening every single day. No protests, no angry social media rants. Just millions of people deciding they deserve better for their hard-earned cash. Makes sense, right? Here's what's really happening. Customers are trading up without spending more. That same $12 at Panera gets you soup and a sandwich. At Jimmy John's, you're getting meat so thick it actually hangs over the bread. Remember when sandwiches used to do that? Local delis are seeing older customers return in droves, rediscovering what fresh sliced turkey actually tastes like. But the weird part is how Subway seems completely oblivious to this shift. While their former customers are discovering better options, corporate keeps pushing the same tired promotions. It's like watching someone try to fix a leaky roof with Band-Aids. Then there's the generational factor that nobody talks about. Older Americans grew up when businesses actually competed for your loyalty. When a restaurant valued your repeat business enough to give you consistent quality and fair portions. Today's Subway feels like they're doing you a favor by taking your money. And that doesn't sit well with people who remember when customer service actually meant something. The migration isn't just about sandwiches either. Families are bundling their meals differently now. Instead of grabbing individual subs, they're hitting up places where $25 feeds everyone properly. Local sandwich shops, grocery store delis, even gas station chains are stepping up their game while Subway keeps sliding backward. And let's not forget the trust factor. Once you feel fooled by shrinking portions and rising prices, every visit becomes a test. Will today's sandwich be worth it? Most people aren't willing to keep playing that lottery with their lunch money. The 2025 movement isn't about boycotts or revenge. It's about rediscovering what value looks like and finding businesses that still remember how to deliver it.